Hi everyone, my name is Adam.
And I'm Zane, and welcome to the A to Z podcast.
Today we have a very special guest with us, Jason from Mana Traders.
Hello.
Hello,
So,
Jason.
give us a little bit of your background with Magic the Gathering.
Let's see. Magic the Gathering. I started playing it in 1999, 98. And it's when basically Years of Saga came out. Well, maybe a little bit before Years of Saga. My mind gets mixed. It was 20 years ago almost. So, I don't know. My buddy, basically, I met in high school, said, hey, check out this card game I'm playing. I'm like, what is this? And, man, I saw how intuitive it was, and I said, this is the game for me. So went down to my local game store in Syracuse called Altered States at the time. I believe it's now Play It Again. Read the Story, Play the Game. And became friends with the owner, and he just helped me out, and we just started playing a lot of Magic.
So how did you come up with the idea behind Mana Traders?
Okay. Well, I also own MTGOtickets.com, and I started that. I'd like to talk about that for a second, actually. So I started that in 2013, and because I felt there was a void or a gap missing in Magic Online. Basically, you couldn't buy and sell tickets safely, without getting either ripped off or trouble with wizards. So I created this void. I filled this void of, hey, we'll be the middleman for everybody, buy and sell tickets. And then, we started moving into selling cards and whatnot and all that stuff. So Mana Traders came about recently. I said, what else is there a problem with Magic Online? Well, nobody's playing it because there's this fear of digital necks coming out, and everybody's going to lose their collections, and it's just too expensive. It's not accessible. So we said, hey, let's rent decks to people on Magic Online. At first thought, it's kind of a stupid idea because, oh, wow, everybody's going to scam you. That's going to happen. But we realized with the security that we have through MTGO tickets that this is possible for us. So we initially said, hey, we're going to, rent decks. And then it went into, let's just do a monthly subscription and we'll rent cards as unlimited to players as much as they want. They could switch out the decks, 10 times, 20 times if they please in a month. So it just kind of progressed. And we just really want to help out the community. That's what we're here for, is just make things accessible, make Magic Online accessible to players that potentially couldn't have the cards. And that's kind of what we're trying to do.
It almost seems like you're trying to become this kind of one-stop shop for everybody in the Magic community. But do you see any challenges that may arise especially from the rent-a-deck program?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first to answer your question is, yeah, absolutely trying to be a one-stop shop. We plan on doing paper rentals starting in maybe May, June, sometime in that era. And then we're just going to keep going and moving forward with paper stuff and more Magic Online features as well. So definitely a one-stop shop in the future. And will there be problems? Absolutely. I mean, we have a bunch of subscribers in the past week that subscribed. This is only our first weekend, actually our 8th day. We went live on February 15th. And inventory issues arose, but we quickly fixed them. And we also made it more accessible for the cards to be on one bot, and they can pick them up instantly through our online rent feature. They just click rent with a deck they want to rent, go to one of the bots, and all the cards there are tradable for them. So yeah, are there going to be problems along the way of renting paper, renting MTGO? Absolutely. But, we like to move fast and we like to fix those complications quickly. So that's just what it is. Any business that you start, there's going to be issues. And you can't see them all in the beginning, but when they arise, it's all about how you handle them and how quick you handle them. And that's what a successful business is.
Okay, so this is for the digital product, the digital player, the player that wants to play digitally, that either maybe has paper or doesn't have paper, but they want to try out new decks, they want to try out different things throughout the month. They can try that for a set fee. There's three tiers to that. So what do you think the future of paper is? That do you have a plan for eventually doing paper renting or any paper ventures?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, we plan on renting paper. There's a company out there that does it already, but they do they do a rent a deck, and that's kind of it. We kind of plan on doing a multi-dimensional thing between Magic Online and Paper Magic, meaning that where you could have a paper subscription and even and play test on Magic Online before you decide which deck you want to rent. So it will be a little bit better service in terms of making sure you get the right deck for what you want. Okay. And otherwise in paper, yes, we plan on doing all kinds of paper stuff. We plan on doing, buying and selling a paper, buying whole collections. Yeah, so we plan on getting into paper. Our ultimate goal is to be like one of the top 3 sites in the world for Magic, Magic Online, and for paper Magic. Such as Star City Games and Channel Fireball. We feel like they are genuine, the top tier websites, and I feel like in the future we could potentially be on that level.
No, I know that you mentioned Star City Games and Channel Fireball. There is a lot of competition out there for you. What sets you apart? Or what do you hope sets you apart for the user?
Yeah, well, what I feel like sets us apart is innovation. We've created 2 features that's never been done before and have been widely successful, such as buying and selling tickets automatically with no human intervention needed, and also now our rental program, which is fully automated. And this is something that's just never been done. Others have talked about it and wanted to try it for years, for 10 years almost, since the beginning of Magic Online. But nobody has ever just tackled it and said, let's do this and let's go. We can figure it out. And with our team that we have, we feel that we can, do all the proper coding that's necessary, give the customer the look and feel they want and need, and just really make it simplistic. And that's our goal, is that if you look at our websites, MTGO Tickets or Mana Traders, very simplistic, point to click, get what you want, done, and that's something that we can set apart from the other people, because, not saying that they don't have a semi-automated sites and whatnot, but the look and feel of our sites, the automation of our sites, and the customer service that we offer, because we were one of the first that offered live chat service on our site back in 2014. Before that, nobody offered such a service. So, I feel like we're just really innovating, and that's what sets us apart from the other competition.
So you talk about this innovation on your site. You talk about the automated trading with the tickets. You talk about the rental program. These things that set you apart. I also, there's a feature on your site that I think really sets you apart, and I think it's very, very cool, is the leaderboard feature. The leaderboard feature, for those of you who don't know, you can look at the leaderboards on MTGO and see the trophy counts for people, and it's really, really cool because there are other sites that do this, but they don't do it quite the same way. You can enter your username, you could track your username, and it's kind of describe more exactly what it's about and what it looks like.
I wasn't aware that other people track trophies, but that's interesting to know. I'll definitely have to look into that. But what's really good about our leaderboard is that you can sign up you can follow your own to see, hey, how am I doing? You can look at the results very quickly compared to Magic Online, which is a difficult program to use sometimes. We know that. But you can also see who else is like leading in different formats, and you can see who's leading like a Hall of Fame overall, all the players that, the total of all the trophies, which that's not possible in Magic Online. But what's really great about our leaderboard is that, every 3 months, every season on 5 different leagues, we're giving away 1,000 tickets. So 200 for each league. And basically the way the tickets are given away, don't quote me on the tickets. It could be bot credits. We're not 100% sure. In the end, it would probably be bot credits. So we're giving away tickets for first and second of each league that we're offering, which is 5 different leagues. And we're also giving away 25 tickets to 5 random people that sign up on our site. And you get entries for every trophy that you earned through Magic Online. It's totally free to sign up. You can also multiply your entries by purchases on our site. So, we designed this for the community to, have a great feature there. And of course, there's a little bit of marketing behind it as well. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I really like it myself. It's a cool way for me to see how I'm doing, over multiple things. Because, on MTGO, it's hard to see all of my different leagues. But there I can just go and say, oh, okay, this. I see where I am standing. And I see how I'm doing in limited versus constructed versus, other people as well.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like the way that at least I track trophies, or at least I track trophies for different, in terms of different players and etc. I basically just go on MTGO and just write them down and keep track of them that way. And that's just, if I don't have access to MTGO, I can't do it, and it's just a really, really big pain in the butt overall. So I love the automated aspect of being able to just go to a site and say, hey, I wonder, how the top people in the trophies are doing, and I don't have to be online on MTGO to actually view it. Now, speaking of these, events that you're holding with the leaderboard and everything, do you plan on hosting any special events like tournaments or anything of that nature in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, we are actually hosting a few small PREs, player-run events on Magic Online. We are doing Penny Dreadful and Frontier on Wednesdays and Sundays. So that's something that we're kind of running small, and we're going to start up a Pauper one as well. This is basically, it's free to sign up, and it's just a way to give back to the community and say, hey, Mana Traders is here. We're hosting some player-run events that are very popular at the time right now, and just have fun and play them, and it's very organized. In the future, we plan on doing. Well, we haven't planned quite yet, but in the vision is that we could have a potential circuit like Star City Games or something like that, or even maybe host a few big tournaments like Channel Fire, Fireball, or whatever. But that's a little ways down the road. We're not quite there, but it's a vision that we would definitely like to entertain.
Awesome. And I know that you mentioned that you run Frontier and Penny Dreadful. A lot of people, at least in certain communities, have seen the drop-off of Frontier specifically. And a lot of people ask myself or even Zane whether or not the Frontier format is dead. I don't know. How has your attendance been for these events and everything?
Yeah. Frontier, we just had our first tournament this Sunday. And it wasn't quite the attendance we're looking for. We're looking for about 30 to 40 people per day. But it was low. It was low. I think it was like 15 people. And honestly, that was kind of saddening to see because such a big hype it had prior to that. So yeah, it could potentially not be a format that kicks off. But I do feel that Penny Dreadful has a lot of vibe to it, and it will definitely stick around for a while.
Now, you talk about Frontier not being able to kick off. How do you see Frontier Finance? Because I know that with Magic Finance, there's a bunch of different aspects that like a personal player can look at, as well as you as a business. Like, how does that affect prices, or does it even affect prices when it's so small? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't know a ton about the Frontier format. I know it starts at some point and ends up the standard. So honestly, it's just like it doesn't really change much in my mind because we used to have, external, I guess it was, and all these other spreads that were kind of similar to that. So it's almost the same as that. So to me, I haven't seen a difference, and it hasn't really kicked off like we said. So I don't personally see it affecting anything in the economy too much.
Okay. For clarity, it starts at M15 and is every set from M15 is an eternal format. All new border cards are in Frontier, so the new border with the the stars or whatever you want to call them.
It has a collector number as well, and
yes,
and everything. So. I mean, looking at it in a very small capsule, we just saw the rise in price of Jace Prodigy, Hangerback Walker, a lot of the cards that used to be very popular in old standard, essentially, or at least the standard that was cons blocked. I just didn't know if you had noticed these cards just settling down in price, or if they've continued to rise over time. Because a lot of people who play Frontier, or at least want to get in Frontier, are always concerned that these prices will either rise or fall without any notice.
Well, it's hard to say because, these cards are out of print. And if there's a demand, it's all about supply and demand. And I can't really answer the question because I just don't know where Frontier is going or the hype's over. I'd be honest, to this point, I haven't seen anything for card fluctuations that I feel are unnecessary. So I don't think that it's really affected the economy too much, to be honest. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, we saw a few buyouts, which caused a lot of price jumps in paper, as usual. You know how those are. And I remember a previous episode we had someone on to talk about the finance as well. And it was just very interesting, like to see, you know, whenever there's a new format that pops up or a new set, you know, it does change some sort of financial burden or financial aspect of MTG and MTGO. But so on the comment of MTGO finance, how have the recent changes to standard been on sales? Like, have you seen a difference in sales?
Well, I can talk a little bit about the economy with the standard bans and the rotation and a few other things that happen, like the treasure chest.
Right.
And whatnot. I can only mainly speak to Magic Online because that's typically all I deal with at this point. Mm-hmm. So I will tell you that during the treasure chest fiasco, literally the economy dropped 24% in 2 days.
Wow.
So imagine if you had $100,000 inventory, you lost 25 grand immediately in 2 days. Mm-hmm. It was very sad day, but it did recover in 2 weeks, 11%, and and right now we're still at a pretty low point, to be honest, to where the economy was prior to that announcement, but it is up a little bit. So there is some good hope there. And with the standard bans, I mean, yeah, that upsets people. When people get upset, what do? They stop playing because, you know, they're upset. But the truth of the matter is that Magic is a very addictive game. We all know this. We've all played on and off for years, surely. And, you know, people always come back because it's a great game. It's a fun game. So they want to come back and play, even though they might be upset about certain things that happen. You know, there's solutions for that. And that's one of the things we're trying to solve, too, with the rent-a-cards. Like, you know, come rent cards from us, because when standard bans happen or the treasure chest economy collapsed, economy 24%, you don't take that burden. We do. And that's great for the customer. And that's kind of the, people were scared with like the digital next and, the standard bans and all these things that happen. It's kind of when they tic-tac-toe up in a row, like that's really bad for the players. And that's the solution that we can offer with the rent-a-cards.
Okay.
Now, it seems like you're trying to consistently build that trust within the MTGO, especially the MTGO community. You talked about the treasure chests and how good it is for the user to, be able to have this rental program where they're not going to lose thousands of dollars like, I did on my Modern collection when that whole thing, crashed. Do you believe that there's a trust issue, at least between the company, like the different companies, the players, and Wizards of the Coast overall?
I don't want to make a statement on that because I don't want Wizards of the Coast come knocking on my door. But I do feel that, Wizards makes some rational decisions. And the community really drives Magic Online. So I really feel like, and I feel that recently they may have asked the community a little bit more about, hey, should we go this direction? Should we go that direction? But prior, there was little foresight on, listening to the community, and that's a problem. Could it maybe create a trust issue with some players? Who knows? But it's definitely they've done some things in the wrong steps, and that's something that they need to fix, and they need to be more transparent with what they do. Because going from a year standard rotation to a 6-month standard rotation back to a year, like that's wishy-washy. It wasn't thought out, and it was a poor decision making. And that's just you have a $1 billion company, Hasbro's $1 billion company. That these are poor decisions from that big of a company.
Okay. So, is there anything that we should be looking forward to in the near future from Mana Traders and MTGO Tickets? Any new things on the horizon that you can share at this time, or is it all secrets?
Well, we don't currently offer Legacy for our rental program, and I believe April 1st that's something that we'll be offering.
Okay.
So that's something to look forward to for the renters. We plan on doing a lot, and I say a lot. I mean a lot of community things, like the trophy, the leaderboard. That's like step one. But I can give you a little insight on something that we're going to do that's very very fun. We're going to, we have a lot of streamers that we sponsor, and there's a lot of opportunity there, and we plan on doing like a streamer showcase of some sort, giving options to players to maybe have one-on-one sessions with them to learn maybe how to draft better or the play lines or whatnot, and they'll be able to ask pros questions and to not just to our streamers, but we have other pros that we're going to be hiring to just answer questions from regular players looking for the best sideboard card or whatever. So somebody can submit a question and get it answered by a pro. So it'll be like maybe a small subscription. We'll probably offer it for free for the first few months, and so people can try it out, and they can just like $5 probably, and they can have access to a pro's mindset on things and really get a better idea of lines and plays and whatnot.
Okay, cool. Man, if I had like years ago, I would have paid for that. That seems like a really cool program. Like getting the advice from where you want to get it from, where you listen from, where you watch, you read about. Like that's cool. Like that personal interaction that you can get with people.
I think it's also especially important because a lot of players that play, especially casually, that want to move into that competitive standpoint, or at least want to go to tournaments or want to go to events and try to perform well. They learn a lot of bad habits by learning by themselves or learning with the play group. Like, and not bad habits in terms of they're illegal, just bad habits of, like I always play stuff before combat, and Zane yells at me all the time because I'm supposed to play certain things after combat to leave up as little information as possible. And these are like habits that I've had because that's how I learned how to play. I mean, granted, I learned how to play back in Tempest, but beside the point. So, I mean, I think access to that is also very important, and actually a really good feature. And I would love to, at some point in time, utilize that more.
Definitely like playing some Magic, man. You can't. Everybody knows you don't pre-combat cast creatures. Come on, man. You always wait till after combat.
I thought he would know it too by now, and then I sit down here and we like have a draft together, and he's just like casting creatures before combat, and I'm like, dude.
Sometimes it makes sense.
If they're tapped out, it's fine.
No, when I have a Long Tusk Cub out on the field, and it's a 2/2, and they have a 2/2 out, I can throw out my Aether Poisoner and be perfully content with having 2 energy to be able to pump out that up to a 3/3.
Sure, of course.
Wow, you found the corner case. Okay.
Well, surely. Yeah.
Or maybe I have an Aether Hoarder. Actually, no, that's a terrible thing. Maybe I have an Aether Chaser out, and I just want to make another servo so I can cast out my Sweatworks Brawler on turn 3.
I mean, you could have done it on turn 3.
Turn 2. No, on the next turn while also dropping another creature.
Okay, there you go.
Maximizing creature things, yeah.
Yes, okay. I got you. I mean,
so you play an energy thing, and then you play the energy thing to make the servo, so then you can also play your other creature. Yeah.
He's trying to defend himself, and he has no grounds to defend himself. So
I do have grounds to defend myself. But
I'm just gonna let him ramble on because he just like he's trying to defend himself about it. I'm like, all right, let's see what he got.
Hey, I'm the one who initially said that it was a bad habit in the first place.
All right, fair enough.
So he admitted it's bad. Fair.
What I'm saying is that there are instances where there are exceptions to every rule.
Oh yeah.
And I think that it's important to be able to have access to someone with more experience to tell you when those exceptions are than you assuming that you know when the exceptions are.
Exactly.
I know I would have loved that instead of learning the wrong way.
Right, you could also be me and start sacking stuff to Arcbound Ravager when an Offense of the Foremost is out in the field, but we won't talk about that.
I remember that. That was a fun time. So thank you for joining today, Jason. It's been a pleasure having you, and I hope you enjoyed hearing about Mana Traders and MTGO tickets and Jason himself. You can, if you want to find out more about just Limited and just Magic in general, you have any questions for him, you can always message him on MTGO at Team Stoke. And you can then also, they always have live chat on their website. 10 to 10 is when they offer chat. So 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can chat on there. Questions, concerns, and definitely customer support. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on A to Z.